solving one-step equations. Anytime we're doing equations or solving equations, we're going to go by the golden rule. Growing up, you guys have probably heard of the golden rule before. What does the golden rule mean? Not related to math. The golden rule. Growing up, have you guys ever heard of the term, use the golden rule? You guys never heard the golden rule?
I never heard the golden rule.
Treat others. Okay, so however you treat someone is how you should expect to be treated in return. So the golden rule here, when we apply it to math, whatever you do to one side of the equation, you're going to do to the other side. So go ahead and fill that in on the line. Whatever you do to one side of the equation, so how do you know what the other side of the equation will be? What separates the sides of an equation? What sign separates this side of the equation? Yeah, the equal sign. So the equal sign is what separates each side of the equation. So the golden rule, whatever you do to one side of the equation, you do to the other side, or you must do to the other side. Okay, we all have that down? Okay. Solving equations. So in solving an equation, the goal is to get the what? What do you think the goal is when you're solving equations? So if I have, we're just going to do an example of a one-step equation here. If I have a plus 7 equals 53, I'm going to make it a long, big number. What's the goal? When I'm going to solve this equation, what do I need to do? The goal is to what? Well, looking at the equation, what's this thing called? A variable. What's this thing called? A plus or an operation sign. This is called a number or value. This is, and this is another number, right? So what's my goal to solve this equation? What do I have to do? Say that again.
Take that A out, put a number in.
Okay, I want to find the value that A equals, right? But in order to do that, what's the very first step I have to do here? Brendan? You are going to subtract. You're going to subtract 7. But by subtracting 7, what do you get by itself? If you subtract 7, what are you going to get by itself on this side? Yeah, the variable. So when solving an equation, the goal is to get the variable by itself. So on that line, right, get the variable by itself. Okay. Did they grab your opener and pass it forward? Okay. Oh, did I not give you a yellow sheet? Did I give you 2 to pass back? So on that second yellow line, get the variable by itself. So we have 2 rules right now. The first rule is whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other side. The second rule is we're going to get the variable by itself. Now, from here, if you look down at the third point on your notes, you'll have that down. It says to get rid of a number in an equation, use. So when I asked what we're going to do here first, Rihanna said we're going to subtract 7. So we had a plus 7, and she said in order to get rid of that plus 7, we're going to subtract 7. What's that called when you do the opposite of the operation it's asking? It's 2 words. I just didn't hear you.
Oh, inverse operation.
Oh my gosh, awesome job. Inverse operation, yes. So, third one. To get rid of a number in the equation, use inverse operation. So to get rid of a number in an equation, use inverse operation. So what's the inverse operation for subtraction? Subtraction.
Addition.
Addition, not division. Okay. What's the inverse operation for addition? What's the inverse operation for multiplication? What's the inverse operation for division? Multiplication. All right. So we're all pretty good at that. So let's start our example problems. So example number 1, we have a minus 5 equals 3. Now, one of the very first things that you guys are going to learn about me is I'm very particular. I like things my way. I like you to do and solve these equations my way. The reason why I'm going to have you do it my way is because down the road when we get into a lot more complicated equations, it'll help you organize your work. Okay? So anytime we are solving equations, the very first thing you are going to do is circle the variable. Now, our 3-step says, our 3 rules, whatever we do to one side of the equation, we're going to do to the other. And we'll get to that. The second says, when solving an equation, the goal is to get the variable by itself. We circle that variable as a visual cue is that anything that's not circled, that's what we get rid of. And we do that by inverse operation. So when we go to solve this problem, the first thing we're going to do is circle the variable. We circle the variable because we want that by itself. Now we also talked about the golden rule. The golden rule is whatever we do to one side of the equation, we do to the other side. Now somebody told me we determine what side of the equation is based by the equal sign. So what I'm going to do with that equal sign is I'm going to draw a line down. That shows that my equation is separated. So I have a left side and a right side. So now, if I want to get the variable by itself, we have to use inverse operation to get rid of this minus 5, right? So what's the opposite of minus 5? Plus 5. Golden rule. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. And I want to see that. So I want to see your plus. I want to see your plus 5 on the left. Then I want to see your plus 5 on the right. I expect to see not just the 5 brought down. I want to see the operation sign. I want to see how that's going to cancel. Okay? So if you have minus 5 plus 5, what's that going to equal out to be? So over here, if you have negative 5 plus 5, what's that equal?
0.
0. So that cancels. So you're going to show that that cancels. So what do I have left on my left side here now? What remains over here? So I'm going to bring my a down. I'm going to bring my equal sign down, and I'm going to put it on my line of equality. And then 8. I just told you the answer. Then what's 3 plus 5? 8. So a equals 8. So the value of a is 8. So if this is my final answer, what should I do to it? Box it. I'm not just going to box the 8. I'm going to box the a equals 8. So every single problem that you solve for me, I want to see it set up like this. Now, if you notice, my line of equality doesn't stop shy of my equal sign. It goes through the equal sign. Think about it. Equality, equal, goes all the way through those equal signs. Okay? This is how I want to see your work. Now, if I plug in 8 for A, you don't have to write this part here. So what I'm writing now in purple, you do not have to write. So we said 8. A equals 8. So I'm going to plug in 8 minus 5 equals 3. Is this statement true? 8 minus 5, does it in fact equal 3? Yeah, so then we know our answer's right. Any questions on that one? Okay. Yes, ma'am. There's some right next to you there. There's some on the windowsill. Oh. Or there's some here. And then there's a little trash can back by my desk if you want to move it up. And hand sanitizer on my desk if you'd like to do that as well. Okay, so example number 2. B minus 16 equals 37. So B minus 16 equals 37. So take a moment, set this problem up how I explained earlier. Thank you. You're out at 8:41. It's 8:48. We'll worry for 7 minutes. Okay. We are on example number 2. Okay. And then just write the problem down, and then we'll get you caught up from there. Okay, so what are 2 of the first things that I need to do here, Isaiah? Okay, so that little dash that we're going to put on the equal sign, we're going to call that the line of equality. Okay? So it's the line of equality. Whatever we do to one side of that line of equality, we do to the other. Second step, Isaiah.
You want to put lush?
Nope, not yet. No.
Oh, you
Jemiah.
You box, circle the
Circle the B. Circle the
You
variable.
gotta circle the B.
You gotta circle the B. If you don't circle that B, when you take your quiz on Friday, I'm gonna put -1 point.
What?
Yep, that's right.
Uh-huh.
I want to see that work. You will learn very quickly in here
I did
to
everything.
do exactly what I say when we're solving our math. So you show your work. Okay, and then from here, what do I do, Rihanna?
plus 16 on both sides.
Okay, what's that called?
Oh.
When you do the opposite of what it's asking you to.
Inverse operation.
Inverse operation. And why do we do that here? Because our goal is to get the what by itself? The variable. So -16 plus 16, that cancels. So I show that. On my left side, what do I bring down, Rihanna? On my left side, Rihanna, what do I bring down?
The V.
The B. Then on my equal sign, or my line of equality, I put my equal sign. Then on my right side, I just solve. So 37 plus 16. You guys agree with her?
Yeah.
Am I done?
Yeah. No, you gotta box the answer.
Good.
The whole.
The whole answer. So the things I'm going to be looking for. The variable circle. Your line of equality going all the way through the equal signs. That you showed your inverse operation. You just didn't bring that 16 down. You brought down the inverse. You brought down the sign with it. So I'm going to look for all of those when I go to grade your quiz.
Yep. And circle the B.
You betcha. All right, does everybody have that down? Because once I hit the next button, it clears it. All right. Let's take a look at example number 3. Ooh, big numbers. Now, in our opener, we did really easy numbers. That's why we could quickly determine what number we would plug in for the variable. Something like this, you're not going to be able to think, this minus 223 will equal 961. That's why we need to learn how to solve one-step equations. So since you guys are already pros, and our goal is to get the variable by itself, I'm going to circle my variable. And then since I'm going to use the golden rule, whatever I do to one side of the line of equality, I do to the other, I draw my line of equality in. So Kelsey, if my goal is to get the variable by itself, what do I need to do here?
Plus 2.
So you do the inverse operation, the opposite subtraction is addition, so plus 223. The golden rule says if I do it on one side of the line of equality, So Kelsey, where else do I need to put that plus 223? Yeah. All right, I'm not done picking on you yet. So I want to clean up my left side. How do I clean up my left side? Show that that cancels. Good. Bring my variable down. What do I put on my line of equality? A C equals. And now I need to solve. So what's 3 plus 1? What's 2 plus 6? And 9 plus 2? 11. And if you want to, you can throw that comma in. So my answer is going to be C equals 1,184. And box it. So if I plug in that number, so do me a favor with your calculators, we're going to plug in 1,184 and subtract 223 from it to see if our statement is true. So take 1,184 minus 223 in your calculators and see if that equals 961. Okay, so we got it right. So let's say that you're solving these and it just doesn't seem like your answer's right, or you want to check your work. Go back through, plug in that value for that variable, and solve it. See if it's right. If you don't end up getting the same end answer, then you know you did something wrong. Okay, everybody have it? Moving on to example number 4. Okay, as I was telling them, I'm really picky about how we set our problems up. We're going to circle our variable. You jig the line, and then you're going to box your final answer. Same thing here. All right, number 4. D plus 5 equals 11. Who haven't I heard a word from? Let's start with Brendan. Tell me, where do I start? What do I do first? Put in my line of equality through the equal sign. That'll help me do the golden rule. Second thing I do, circle the variable. Okay, my goal is to get the variable by itself. So what do I do from here, Darius?
You subtract 5.
I subtract 5. What's that called?
Inverse operation.
Okay, if I subtract 5 from one side, I
Do it to the other.
do it to the other. So if I just write this on your work or your homework or on your quiz, would I give you full credit?
No,
No, why? What am I missing?
you're missing the minus for 5.
Yeah, the minus. So I'm going to draw my line underneath here just so I can separate my work. What do I continue to do on the left side here, Darius?
You cross out. Cancel.
Yeah, I showed that plus 5 minus 5 will equal 0. So now I have the what by itself on the left side.
You got that D by yourself.
Okay, so I'm going to bring that D down. Equals, and then I can go ahead and evaluate or solve. 11 minus 5, Darius? 6. Last step, Beyonce? Box it. You guys are pros, right? So Carlos and Nimmons actually taught you guys something? Oh, good. Good deal. Did they make you do it the same way that I am?
Just not circle the variable.
They ain't gotta
but
do
the
all that
rest of
circling and all that boxing.
Just need box.
Because they're lazy. They didn't want to have to explain circle the variable. You can tell them I said they're lazy too. Okay, everybody have this one down. Example number 5. Uh-oh. What's different about this one? Variable's not on the other side. It's just in the middle. So we're going to do the first 2 steps the exact same. So I'm going to circle my variable. I'm going to draw my line of equality. Okay? Now, the variable is a plus e. So I don't need to do anything with that. But I need to get the variable by itself. So how do I get rid of the 7? If there's no sign in front of that 7, what is it automatically?
Positive.
A positive. So what's the opposite of plus? Yeah, so I'm just going to subtract 7.
And then you cross that out and then
Okay.
let's see,
Okay, so what do I bring down my left side? I just had a moment. Don't tell me. I just totally forgot your name.
It start with a J.
It doesn't start with a J.
Oh, her?
Him.
Oh, just
Okay, I'm cheating. Deontay. I wanted to call you Demonte. Deontay. Okay, so what do I bring down on my left side?
what side is that? Wait, now.
What do I bring down my left side?
I'm sure.
Deontay?
You talking about that side?
So here's your line of equality. Here's your left side. What do I bring down here?
Oh, the E.
The E. Like you're doing so well yelling out answers for everybody else, and I get to you. Okay, now my right side, evaluate. What's 11 minus 7? 4. It's my final answer, so I'm going to box it. Now, do I need to worry about getting rid of this plus sign? No. It's just showing that that's a positive. Now, if it was a minus, a subtraction sign, then we'd have to do something. Then we'd have to get rid of that subtraction sign. Any questions on that one? Okay, moving right along. Do we all have it down? Okay, moving right along to example number 6. Okay. Let's have Isaiah. What do I need to do in order to get this problem ready to solve?
first you need to circle the variable.
Because I want to get that variable by itself. Then what?
Then you put your line of equality.
Because whatever I do to one side, the golden rule, whatever I do to one side of that line of equality, I do to the other. Now, from there, what do I need to do?
You need to put a positive 7.
Yeah, because what are you doing? Why are you doing a positive 7? What are you getting by itself there? The letter, the variable. So the opposite of minus 7, as Isaiah told us, is a positive 7. So I'm going to put plus 7 on my left side. So what does that mean I have to do to my right side, Isaiah?
Yeah, you need to put a plus.
A plus 7 on my right side. I'm going to make sure I show the operation signs on each side. So Darius, finish this one off for me.
You cross out.
Okay.
Then you drop the L. The equal sign. Then I got 36.
I think you're right. If you're not sure, you could always plug in negative 7 plus 36 and see if you got 29. And if you did, then your answer is right. Again, because this is a positive sign in front of the variable, I don't have to do anything else with it. Okay. Next one.
It might be on a clock.
Huh?
Never mind.
9 o'clock? Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, Wednesday. But I was just telling you guys in advance. Wednesday, we do our hearing and vision at 9. Okay. Huh? Hearing and vision. Tomorrow at 9, we'll go down to the night school office. You have to do it every... This year? Here?
And we did it in Georgia yesterday.
You have to do it for the school. That was for the state. So this will have to be for the school. Okay, now this equation is going to be different. We have 5 equals g minus 2. So this time they put the variable on the right side of the line of equality. That's okay. We're going to keep that variable on the right side. We're not going to move it to the left side. We're going to keep the variable on the side that it starts at. So we're going to set this problem up the same way by drawing our line of equality for the golden rule. I'm going to circle my variable because my goal is still to get that variable by itself. So if I still want to get that variable by itself, I'm going to have to do inverse operation. So, Asia, if I want to get this g by itself, what do I have to get rid of? Okay, so what's the opposite or the inverse operation of minus 2? Plus 2. So the golden rule says if I add 2 on my right side of my line of equality, I have to add 2 on my left side. So what's 5 plus 2? 7. Then on my line of equality, I put my equal sign. I cancel out my 2's on my right side, and I bring down my g. And that's my final answer. So you don't flip your variable over to the left. Leave it on the right. So whatever side that variable starts on, leave it. Down the road, we'll start solving equations with variables on each side of the line of equality. Then you might change which side the variable's on. But for the sake of a one-step equation, leave it how it is. My favorite equations, we do third triad. It might be second triad. Second or third triad, it's solving equations with square roots in them. Have you guys done that? Yeah, they're fun. It's probably my favorite lesson, square roots are. All right, do we have it? Did we lose it? All right, moving on to example number 8. So this one looks a little different again, because this time our answer has a negative in it. We're going to still follow the same steps. Circle your variable. Draw your line of equality. Who can talk me through or walk me through example number 8?
The whole thing?
Darius?
Plus 2.
Okay, so we're going to get the variable by itself. Which side? Over here? Left side?
Wait, you need the 22.
Okay, so I cancel on my right side, and then what do I do? Now what do I do?
Oh, you dropped the 8. You dropped the -5.
Then I drop the what?
-5.
Okay, because -7 plus 2 is -5. Then what?
Then you box it.
Okay,
Oh, equal sign.
the equal sign where?
In the middle.
So this is the middle?
The line.
So it has to be on my line of equality. Good. Now, you can do this in 2 ways. You can look at it as 2 different signs, find the difference. So 7 minus 2 is 5. Which number is larger? The 7, so it gets a negative. Or you can use your calculator to help you out. Remember, the negative sign is the bottom right corner of your calculator. So you type in that negative, then the number plus 2, and it should give you the answer of -5. Any questions on example number 8?
No.
Example number 9. Raise your hand if you got this one, start to finish. Deontay.
Alright, first put the line through the
The line of equality.
yeah, all the way down. And then put on this side, put minus 13. Negative 13. You gotta put negative 13 on this side. Oh, you gotta circle it.
Okay, circle your variable. So, and then you said you got to do negative 13. So you're doing the inverse operation. How did you know that was going to be a negative 13?
Because it's positive.
Because if there's not a sign in front of the number, it's positive. So the opposite of positive 13 or the inverse, Deontay said, is going to be a negative or a minus 13. Okay? Go ahead.
And then put the negative 13 on the other side.
The line of equality, okay.
Yeah. And then put another line.
Okay.
Then mark out that 13 with the one with the variable on it. Mark that one off.
So on the right side, because my goal is to get the variable by itself.
And then bring down the variable.
I, okay.
Then on the 13 is 0.
0.
And then put an equal sign in the middle.
Okay.
Right there, yeah, on the line of that. And then box.
And then box it. Very good. Okay, so if I would substitute, or if I would plug in or evaluate I equals 0, if I plug in 0 up here, if I would take 13 plus 0, does it equal 13? Yeah. So Deontay was right. $5, is that what you said?
You said like always.
Oh, like always. So you're always right?
Yeah. And then in case you get wrong.
All right. I guess we'll find out on Friday when we take that quiz.
Alright. This gonna be on this?
It's going to be over this and multiplying and dividing equations. So yeah, it's still one step though. All right, example number 10. Negative 7 equals negative 19 plus j. Last example of the day. Raise your hand if you think you can solve it from start to finish if you have not already participated. If you've already done one, put your hand down. If nobody volunteers, I will volunteer for you. Ayance, you made eye contact. Pick it on you. You got it. You seem confident. You have it. Tell me what I do.
Circle it.
Okay.
Draw your line.
Draw your line. Okay? So I have my variable circled, my line of equality, so I'm set up and ready to get that variable by itself by doing, because that's called the what?
Inverse operation.
Inverse operation. Okay?
Put plus 19 over.
So whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. It's my golden rule. And you said cross that out. Now what? Bring down my j. Okay?
I'll give it.
Okay, so use your calculator. If you have no clue, use your calculator. That's why it's there. It's for it to help you. So you're going to type in your negative. Oh, clear that out. So negative 7 plus, what do we have? 19 equals a positive 12. Okay, what do you do to finish this problem up? Box it. Okay, now let's say that you didn't have a calculator or your calculator quit working. Another way to solve this, you have two different signs here, right? Negative and a positive, so find the difference. So put your larger number first, so 19 minus your smaller number. Well, what's 19 minus 7? 9 minus 7 is 2. Bring down your 1. Which number is bigger here, 19 or 7? 19, what type of sign does 19 have? A plus, a positive, so it's going to be a positive answer. Do you guys have any questions? Are you ready for your homework assignment? Homework. That's right. Worksheet. This shouldn't come as a surprise. Bless you. Why shouldn't this come as a surprise? Because it's on the board. I told you on Monday, it's on the board. So, worksheet 1.2, we're going to make that due on Thursday. If you get it done before then, turn it in.